Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night. That means it is the Fan Zone show. What have we got to talk about tonight? I think VAR is going to be a hot topic. Leicester lost again, I'm going to say. Again, yes, that's, what is it? 3 defeats out of 5, 6 points out of 15. We want your views. We want your comments. I want to know exactly what you think to Leicester at the moment. Get your views in, get your comments in, and join us for tonight's Fan Zone show.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, indeed. My name's Phil. If you're watching this live every Monday night, 7:30, we go through what's happened at the weekends. We'll look forward to Millwall as well on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. But listen. I know you all want to know, was VAR wrong or right? Let's have the debate today. Get your comments in. Follow us on Leicester Fan TV, wherever you're watching. Join us live. But if you're not watching us this live, watching this on playback, subscribe and join us live next time. Let's get comments on screen. Imtiaz says, good evening. It's been a rough start to the season and it can only get better from now onwards. Let's hope so, Imtiaz. The councillor, good evening, sir, says mixed feelings after yesterday's games. I think I am with you. Wayne wants to ban VAR full stop. Do you agree with Wayne? Where are you all? Have you got blue tinted specs on tonight, or are you being realistic about it? Jack says he's not having any of this offside malarkey. Jack is referring to the fact that me, Jack, Jamie, Tom, Reedy, all the lads, Jake, Sam, we spent all day arguing the toss over yesterday's VAR results. We should have been working, and trust me, we have been looking at things in super slow motion. And let me know, Mick, do you know what, Mick? I'm a bit more with you. Is it poor team selection at the moment? Is it poor tactics? Is it sideways, backwards? We were pretty poor until we were 2-0 down yesterday. What do you want to say about that? I know, listen, Philip says VAR sucks. Go on, you're all going to blame VAR for yesterday, VAR. I'm not sure it is. You're 2-0 down. You know, I think the councillor says second half was best performance of the season so far. Yeah, what about the first 60 minutes though, councillor? What about that? Matty, I do want your opinion, Matty, because we've had a little debate as well. Matty, listen, Matty, what is it? Get it out here, get the comments on. Tom is saying VAR, not happy about it. Jack says F VAR. Andy says, I hope we win the Europa because if we carry on playing like this, we won't be in it next year. 5 games in, Andy, are you feeling a little bit worried, a bit defeatist? Yeah, listen, let's not get too carried away. But what I will say to you all is, how important is Burnley on Saturday? Forget Millwall on Wednesday. Burnley is the big one. I don't know. Get your comments in there. Andy says Brendan picks the team. Daniel, I'm with you on this. Need to stop making excuses. Listen, the VAR yesterday, here's my opinion, but I want yours. Let's start off VARing yesterday about the first goal, their first goal. That's what I want to know, their first goal. Surely that, the penalty, VAR proved, this is where I am on the side. VAR in slow motion, you watch it back and you watch the whole incident, they should pick up on Vestergaard getting pulled, getting his arm tugged. VAR should sort that one out. In fact, they VAR'd it to check, did it hit his hand? Well, yes, it did, but he was being pulled. So VAR, the first goal, in my opinion, was completely wrong. Do you agree with that? I think we all agree with that, but feel free if anybody doesn't agree that the penalty for Brighton was a VAR mistake, because I think it was. So if you agree it was, put it in the comments. If you think it wasn't, LCFC Gray saying it was never a penalty. Gail saying starting lineup should be the same as the second half lineup yesterday. That's an interesting one. Ross saying another rant I had was Maddison needs to be dropped. He's only in the squad because of his name and not because of his performances. I don't know if it was Ross. Somebody shared in one of the groups I'm in that Maddison hasn't made an assist or scored a goal since February. I can neither confirm nor deny that is correct, but that is what somebody's told me. Have you heard that one in there? Now, listen. Before we get too much further, I must remind you, and I must beg and plead and ask you kindly, wherever you are watching from, the deal is tonight on Monday nights is I'm going to get as many comments on screen as possible of your comments. I want them on screen. You guys, in return, help me. Like, share, subscribe. Do that now while you're watching this. Where if you're on Facebook, give it a likey. Come on. It takes a second. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, whatever you have to do. That helps us out. Back to your comments. Gail saying, I've done that one. What are you doing, Phil? Come on. Patrick saying, we are all happy with Norwich goal being disallowed in our game. It's interesting there. Both disallowed goals and their penalty was comical refereeing. Now, this is where the debate, this is where you may all start to hate me, because I think they're Harvey Barnes the first one that was disallowed for Harvey Barnes. I think that the first goal was disallowed correctly. I think Match of the Day agreed with that. I think Harvey Barnes yesterday was clearly his tactics, what he was told by Brendan and the teams on corners, when it's our corner, you go and you hassle their keeper. He was clearly doing that. He was doing it on the first goal that was disallowed. He's doing it on the second goal that was disallowed. If you watched them back in slow motion, the first thing he does, just as the ball's just before it's kicked, he pretty much runs into their keeper and gives him a little ruffle up. The first goal, he is in the line of sight of the keeper. That's my opinion, and that one should be disallowed. The second one, I think, is not as clear. But if any of you guys have ever played in goal as a keeper at whatever level, you'll know that if somebody just barges into you and comes into you and then is only about a metre away from you, for me, Harvey Barnes on the second one is still interfering with play. I don't think it's clear, but I can see why they've done that now. Joe says, we're absolutely robbed. I'm sorry, we were. Listen, Joe, I just wonder if we're all going to make excuses yesterday for the fact that VAR definitely got at least one of the decisions wrong, maybe two. So we could easily be sat here arguing and saying we should have had a point, we should have had two. The performance wasn't there for that first 45, 50 minutes, Joe. So if you think we were robbed, I'm not. We were out there. I'm not sure. Daniel saying we never looked like scoring until Maddison went off. As a keeper, you need to be chuffed just like defenders, though. Fair enough. I didn't say he was being tough or he wasn't tough, Callum. What I was saying is, Harvey Barnes, you watch it back on the second goal, the one that's the most debate about it. Harvey Barnes runs into the keeper, and then the ball goes, when Ndidi heads it, it goes about that far away from Barnes's head. For me, he is still interfering. Jack, I know, is saying it's never a penalty. Honestly, trust me, we've been me and Jack, Reedy's going to come in a minute, I think. I'm going to add him on. He's waiting in the background. It's normally just me, but Reedy's incensed. He wants to tell me why it's definitely should have been VAR. Honestly, these guys, I just think, yeah, Brackley says Lookman has to start on Saturday. Do you agree with Brackley? Daniel is saying it would appear that Brendan recognises that Madders has an issue with his game confidence. We can't sacrifice playing with 10 men. What is it about Madders at the moment? What do you think? Am I right? I've been told he hasn't had an assist or a goal since February. What do you do when you've got a player like Maddison who isn't assisting and isn't scoring? What is he offering to it? Are we forgetting the first 60 minutes of the game? We aren't going to win many games if we don't start playing until we're 2-0 down. Neil, this is my take on it. I think if you're using VAR as a reason for yesterday, you are just... Look at the performance, lads. Look at the performance. That's what I need. Jack's saying we need players in the team who are attack-minded. What would you do about that? Fee saying, agreed, Philip Bliss. Agreed, Philip Bliss. Let's go back. Philip Bliss. I can't find his comment. Oh, Maddison are so bad. Okay, well, poor performances, but we were robbed, says Ian. I think that's about right, Ian. I think you've summed it up for there. I felt like, listen, VAR will go for you, will go against you. They should get things right. For me, they should get the penalty right. I honestly think the two goals that were disallowed, that is up to people's interpretations of what it is. I think you'll all agree Harvey Barnes is stood in an offside position in both of them. So let's start with that. Why is Harvey Barnes standing in an offside position on both of them? He's got done for one. So, hey up, wake up. Don't do it twice, mate. So Harvey Barnes is in an offside position in both of them. Whether you think he's interfering with play or not is the debate, but he is offside, i.e. the furthest player off. So why do that? Wayne, don't get me started on there. Jack saying Sumeri is great, looking good. But what sort of sacrifice do you have to get him in there for him? And Madders and Tielemans and Ndidi and Sumeri. Did it work, Jack? That's what we want to know. Jono says maybe Madders is knackered with all the late night feeding of the Baba. Jono, let's not get on to started that. The rest of us are all knackered. We all work hard and do it there. Keith saying I'm turned into football's Nigel Farage tonight. I'm not sure why, Keith, you're saying that, but it's in there. Daniel saying Tielemans has been just as bad. I've heard that quite a few rumblings from people I sit with and go to the football with. People saying Youri Tielemans needs to make his mind up what he's doing in there. Jack's making me lash. Hashtag no to boohoo men. Is that what it's all about? Honestly, if you want, well, I don't have to be careful what I say, but go and check Madder's Instagram out and tell me what you think to a professional footballer's Instagram in 2021. I don't know. By the way, go and check out Harvey Barnes' Instagram, and I think you'll see what I would think a footballer's Instagram should look like. But hey, that's in there. Madison doesn't want to know since Arsenal shown interest, says Ian. In there. Patrick, by the way, it was nice to see you briefly outside the ground at the Napoli game. Brendan, I'm not going to get into that sort of debate today. I think that's silly Billy stuff to talk about Brendan and what's going on. In there, Jack saying there was no midfield balance on, he means Sunday, obviously. It feels like a long time ago, but it was just yesterday. Fee, I agree. Having a newborn has nothing to do how he plays football, else we'd all be going to work saying, do you know what? Sorry, boss, I can't do my job today very well. You'll have to let me off for the next, you'll have to let me off for the next 20 years. Trust me, kids give you a headache forever. So don't you worry about that. Jack is saying the corruption thing. I'm not having it either, Jack. VAR refs decisions, some of them will go for you and some of them will go against you. Honestly, in there. Patrick really is the bringer of doom and gloom, saying that we should ditch FPS sponsors. Hey, listen, hopefully their sponsorship deal will bring us in more players in there. The counsellor says Brendan is loyal, but the tough decisions to make into the starting 11, I think, is that what you're meaning there, counsellor? Andy, I've been saying this for 4 years, 5 years maybe, even since we won the Premier League side. We need a midfield general who'll grab them by the gonads. I agree with you in there. Listen, Reedy, we're going to debate about. I'm going to add him in. All right, Reedy.
I'm good. You?
Come on then. Let's have it.
What do we want to talk about first? Because
the penalty shouldn't have been a penalty. Agreed.
Yeah. So obviously, my opinion is, I think regarding that, if that wasn't getting given, I think maybe, I'm not going to say it would have had, but I think maybe from there, if it got denied, it probably would have changed how we played or changed the kind of situation we were in, because we weren't looking interested by that point or even after that point. But
who wasn't looking interested?
Leicester, we weren't looking interested. Even after that penalty, because then they went 1-0 down.
So do you think we were looking interested before the penalty?
No.
So were we looking interesting after the penalty?
No, but I think if we got overturned, I think we may have kind of thought.
So until the penalty, we looked like we couldn't be bothered, and then we have the penalty decision, and then we looked again the same, like we couldn't be bothered. But anyway, that's interesting because a lot of people have said the first 45 to 60 minutes we weren't in it, but the penalty shouldn't have been a penalty. No. VAR should have sorted that. We all agree that, don't we? The first disallowed goal, Reedy, for me, that should have been disallowed.
Looking at both of the offside ones, the first one I'd agree.
With the first one.
The first one I'd agree is more. It should have been. Yeah, it should have been taken off, and it has been. Mainly because
Harvey Barnes was offside.
More the point for me, it was in the way. I think a lot of players that I know, a lot of the players that I've seen have been allowed to stand on the goalkeeper, even if he is offside, as long as he's not in the way when the ball goes in the net. Because it means, for the first one, yes, I agree.
So okay, so you are so far
the
with
first one,
we
yes.
are agreeing now. The second one, then. Talk us through the second one.
I think, obviously, if Barnes knew that he did wrong when the first one got disallowed, so you'd know from that not to get in the keeper's way for the second one. And in my opinion, he was out of the way. Yes, he was interfering with him a tiny bit to kind of maybe just hold on to him a minute. But the moment the ball came in, he moved away and let the play go on, and the keeper could clearly see the ball from images that we've seen and whatnot. And obviously, I know you've seen different angles of him looking like he's in the way and him shoving the keeper.
The first one or the second one?
For the second one, I think he wasn't anywhere near the keeper's view.
But he is on the second one. This is my debate. On the second one, he is tussling with the keeper again.
He is, and I think isn't that what is allowed with a player to do on the keeper? Because I know a lot of players do that.
Technically, you're not meant to touch anybody on a pitch when they've not got the ball. That's like pulling, tussling. I mean, Andy Meadows says here, you can't really be touching keepers. It's just a bit of a. If you breathe near a keeper, they'll go down or anything.
Oh yeah, but we've seen in the past these sort of things have been given. Even both of our disallowed goals probably would have been given in the past, just from a person's view. Like for me, like I say, a lot of players can stand on the keeper. All players can do that. I'd say yes, you're not really allowed to touch them, but maybe a bit of a shove from Barnes there. He realised I shouldn't have done that, and then he walked away. For me, and he obviously got out of the way, and the goal went in. So I can't really. I don't know. Like in that position there, he's going on to him, and then since the ball's gone away, he's walked away here.
So, but Barnes, the ball is in mid-flight there. We are looking at split seconds here, and Barnes is tussling with the keeper. But there. And did his a split second from heading it, and Barnes is right next to the keeper. Do you get that?
I get that, but he's clear as day, can see the ball. He's just got he was having no chance either way of getting to that ball for me. He was going backwards. He was in that position before Barnes was tussling him.
So Barnes is offside, and that ball, he's not interfering with it.
For me, it ain't.
But the keeper is watching the ball and Barnes and everything.
For me, he ain't interfering. He's stood there, but he's not touched the ball. He's not done anything. Like I say, I showed you the one with Newcastle and Leeds. For me, yes, the guy ran and he was onside as he was running, but he still jumped over the ball as if he was going to touch the ball and let it go through.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like for me.
I'm with Neil. He's in the 6-yard box. He's offside position. He's stood the nearest player to the keeper. He's in an offside position. He's interfering it. But I'm more. People start saying things like this. Referees being paid by the big teams. They don't want Leicester at the top. Just my opinion.
I don't think that. It's not at all. It's like I say, on another day for me, both of them goals probably would have been given. It's just on the day and the penalty as well. Obviously, all them collided. Just felt we were robbed. But I know what you mean. There's certain areas above points of the VAR. You can say maybe probably that's the reason they're giving it, but. On other days, that penalty wouldn't have been given as a penalty. Both of the goals, one of the goals at least, would have been given straight. And obviously, after watching Match of the Day, you saw that the second goal for the pundits were a clear, fair goal. But
Jono's put on here, don't have to touch the ball. Rules have changed for this season, says Daniel. Jono, I probably am landing on the side of with the second disallowed goal. We were unlucky on that. But I've heard people saying we was robbed. VAR's cheating. Nobody wants us in the top 6. We're nowhere near the top 6 at the minute, really. Nowhere near the top 6 at the moment. So people need to. For me, it's a bit of a bang down to reality. Burnley on Saturday is a massive game.
Yeah, it is. And I said in the comments, I think up until Brighton's second half, we've looked average at best. Since Lookman came on for us. Even before Welbeck scored for them, we did look a completely different side. All the little moving passes, running on to people's. Even the first goal we scored was amazing play, and we would never have scored that before that game. And I think that's how we used to look before it kind of wasn't how we know we can play. So I think if we can play like that against any other team now, if we keep how we played second half against Brighton, we could beat most teams, but. Like I say, the first half was just sloppy and horrible, and Even when you saw the lineup, having Maddison on the wing, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to slate him because, like I say, it must be just confidence. But putting someone like that on a wing when he's not a winger, it don't make sense. Like, you'd put him in the midfield and put Lookman on the wing. You're just making decisions where they're not going to play well. It's like Perez putting him on the wing when he's not really a winger.
And where did Maddison play then? What position?
I think he was more of a right wing against Brighton,
right winger.
wasn't he?
But really, didn't we need to buy a right winger in the summer? Didn't we all say that?
Oh, yeah. And that's why I thought maybe Lookman would start there. But obviously, Brendan doesn't want to start.
But where did Lookman play when he came on?
In the right wing.
So, but Lookman's more of a left winger. He's played left wing the other night against Man City and Napoli.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and that's why I said I think the only reason Lookman came on against Napoli was because Barnes came off. I think, and that's what I mean. So I don't know why he don't trust Lookman or someone like that to be on that right wing. Even Albrighton. Why don't you put Albrighton on the wing? Because he's a winger. He's not Maddison, who's a more creative midfielder who's normally placed in midfield. I just don't get that sort of decision from him. Don't get me wrong, it's worth giving maybe a try, but it just didn't work. So after 20, 30 minutes, you think this is going to pop. We need to change this thing up. The moment Lookman came on for us, completely different.
Crispy says here, to be fair, if we play better, we'd have won. We've just got to focus on the next game and drop the Brighton one, Reedy.
Yeah, I said that. I said that we got ourselves in that position to be 2-0 down. Yes, like I say, a penalty decision changed things as well, but going 2-0 down, that was our fault and we were playing bad until then. But like I said, the moment we made a change and we played in the formation we can do and how things flowed, it just looked how we used to be and we were dominating them from the 60 minutes onwards. So like I said, it's hard to work out, but I think we all know that since 60 minute onwards, that is how we know we can play and how we do look when we play, how we can play. So it's hard to see how we're playing. We played so bad in the first 60 minutes compared to the last 30.
Can't play 90 minutes. Good at the moment. Reedy, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to get as many comments on in the last 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for that. And I've enjoyed the debate all day long, non-stop, with about a million different photos between us all. Trust me. Thanks, Reedy.
No, we're seeing a bit.
We literally have, honestly, we must have sent each other, between me and Reedy, Jack, Tom, every different angle on those goals, pen marks drawn all over them. We've been debating it all stop, so I've got to get Reedy in to have his go. Reese says, I'll happily slate Maddison to his face. He's bang average, but has one good moment in 5 games. Thanks, Reese. Please don't go up to Maddison and say that maybe. Joe, good evening to you. How are you? Keith? Still fuming he didn't get his half-time pie. Well, do you know what I could do with not eating a few half-time pies? Ian's saying Saturday must-win game. Anything but, we're in big trouble even this early in the season. Confidence is at real low at the moment. Ian, I think you're getting a bit excited about it, but I'm with you. Burnley are poor this season. We need that to be a home win. Trust me, a draw or a defeat, and me, we're all in meltdown. Andy says, think we should give Daka a go. It's interesting in there. Maddison looks like he's injured himself taking the knee, says Andy. I'm not sure about that one. Jono says Maddison was drifting on the right, but he was really poor. He couldn't run in there. Is he fit, Jono? What is it in there? LCFC Gray says we need to be positive, quicker, and get rid of the faffing around at the back. Faffing around at the back? LCFC Gray? Faffing around at the back. I tell you what, listen, when our goal we scored was absolutely delightful, and we've not even talked about it because we've lost, but what a delightful goal that was. It's like watching Barcelona play. And some of the stuff we do at the back, trust me, I'm old school, you know I am. I've never seen a Leicester team who can play it around at the back like that. I'm not sure I want to see them play it around like that all the time. It's a bit one-dimensional at times. As in, I saw somebody put a comment the other day over the weekend. It doesn't. You know how Leicester are going to play. I know how Leicester are going to play. Do you know what? They know how Leicester are going to play. The other teams. We're going to pass it around at the back. Come and pressure us. Come up, pressure us. I know that's what we want. We want teams to come at us to make space, but honestly, the amount of times we mess around with it at the back, give the ball away, I and with LCFC Grey faffing around at the back, could be our time in there. Matty says, we've got tickets for Burnley. See you Saturday. Matty, I will see you down there outside the Blues Bar at 2 o'clock in there. Reese is saying we can still get top four. Joe, what a question. Who do you play? Listen, Carabao Cup should be a cup we should really challenge for and go for, but we've got Europa League, we've got Premier League. When you make and I'm going to say it's an average start to the Premier League side, it suddenly makes you think, who do you play against Millwall? Is it the B side? Is it the B/C side? Obviously, surely you're not going to play Schmeichel, Vardy, Tielemans. You can't risk. If Brendan played any of those players, any of the major players, against Millwall and they got injured, absolutely can't afford to do that at the moment. Daniel, I'm sort of with you. And again, if you guys speak to some Celtic fans and speak to, more importantly, Liverpool fans, a lot of them talk about third year scenario where you sort of know what he's going to do. I'm not getting too excited yet. Let's just see. Andy says play the women's team. Dewsbury Hall deserves a start, says the councillor. A lot of fans are saying that. I haven't seen snippets of him. I'm not sure he is the saviour, to be fair for us. Keith saying Daka up front against Millwall. I agree, Keith. Who else would you put in there? Danny Ward's got a start, hasn't he, in there? For me, I'd probably play Benkovic in there, Amati in there, Chowdhury. I mean, these are some of the obvious ones I think who are going to get in. Got to get Chowdhury in there, maybe Mark or Brighton for more game time, maybe Perez in there, maybe for sure Daka. Let's see what he's got in there. Dewsbury Hall will start against Millwall, I'm sure, Ian, and will give us that. I'm with you, great. I'd love to keep. I think the League Cup is a good one to go for. Not many teams take it seriously. It's silverware. It's a silverware. It's a trip to Wembley. I know it gets you into the Europa Conference League, but hey, I think the Coca-Cola Cup final. Coca-Cola Cup final. How old am I? How old am I? Coca-Cola Cup final. It's not been that in years. The Worthington Cup, the Milk Cup finals in the Intertoto Northern League matches in February. Oh dearie me, honestly. Come on, big one from Reese. I'd hate to be Kelechi Iheanacho right now. He, in my opinion, is our best striker. He got a bit more pace and an immense ruthless power. Holds up play is amazing. I don't know what more he has to do. Reese, I'm with you, mate. He scored a hatful of goals. Somebody put in the comments how many goals he scored, but he has scored an absolute bagful and so many assists since Christmas. You know, he should be there. He's probably too nice to be banging on Brendan's door. Sometimes you wonder how some of the players seem to get picked regardless, and some of them don't. Matty says Daka, KDH, Danny Ward. Yeah, I agree with those for starters. The last time we won the League Cup, Worthington was relevant. Hey, you can still drink Worthington now. Fee, I'm sure you're not older than me. Vardy should be benched. Listen, LCFC, Josh. People a bit on Vardy. He scored a few goals already this season for us. He's doing his job. Joanna, I remember that. What a day. 97 League Cup final. Worthington Cup. Was it Worthington? It was Worthington back in 97. I think in that. Listen, we're getting sidetracked very, very quick. It's amazing how quickly we all get sidetracked. The Johnson Paint Trophy. Yes, we're not in that. Back to the football. Madder says Madder should play against Millwall for not punishment. Oh, I don't think so. Simon saying Benkovic is playing the under-23. Why doesn't Benkovic just play on Wednesday against Millwall? Me no understand. He's in our Europa League squad, is he not? So surely then he should be in there. Simon says playing weak side against Millwall. No, could be out of 2 competitions by Christmas. Come on, Simon. Keep the faith a bit longer than that. Vardy doesn't do much dirty work. Rather Daka and Kelechi play. Honestly, Brendan will rue these games that he keeps starting Maddison while he's not delivering. This season, a lot of teams want those top 7 positions. I think it's tougher. Chris, I think you're absolutely right. I absolutely think you are right. This is tougher this season. Listen, we were on the fringes. We should have finished top 4 last season. We should have finished top 4 the season before. For me, I struggle to see how anybody outside the sofa, outside of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, and Man United, they've just strengthened too much. We're not in that category where, you know, we're saying we need to buy a right winger, we need to buy player. I say we need to buy players who start. Heck, they've gone out and bought mega players. You know, those four sides I've just said, they're all stronger than last season. They are all stronger. Add to that the teams like West Ham, Everton, like you say, even Brighton on form. It's a tough season this season. Andy Meadows says, if Man United can bring Ronaldo back, can we bring Muzzy Izzet back? That would be great. Joanna says, Pierpoint now. Listen, Barry Pierpoint is joining us on Friday, Joanna, at lunchtime at 1 o'clock with Gary Mills. We're going to do a special lunchtime live. You heard it here first. I will mention him to you, or mention you to him, Joanna, and you can get in there. Crispy says, just because Vardy is arguably our best player doesn't mean you will have to start him. Blah, blah, blah. Give him a rest. Give the young boys a try. Killer, Daka and Lookman should have a rest. It's interesting. Wayne noted that, and it was yesterday, not Saturday, but he did score. I think he's going to feature for Man United, honestly. If he was available for 25 million, we should have got him. But to be fair, I think the West Ham fans were disappointed they didn't get him as well, seeing as he scored against them. If we don't get Champions League, I reckon players will leave. I don't think we're going to get Champions League, LCFC Gray. I know we've only had 5 games. I'm just struggling to see it, honestly. You can tell him I held a banner to get him out. Joanna, if you've got the photo of that, do send it to me. He'll have a laugh about it, to be fair. Reece saying Liverpool could drop Phil. No depth, really. They sold the likes of Shaqiri, not replaced him. Who knows, Reece? It's a long season. It really is a long season in there. LCFC Josh saying, why can't we try some of our attacking youth in there? It's going to be an interesting one. We didn't really get onto Millwall too much about what we would do. Honestly, it's going to be such an interesting one. Don't forget, tomorrow, Jack is here at 7:30 with his WSL, that's the Women's Super League, live on Wednesday night. It's watch along if anybody can find a stream to watch it on. So do get in there and join us. If not, we'll just be live and maybe we'll do a listen along. For those of us who aren't at the match, who aren't braving the den, maybe we'll listen to Radio Leicester like this and be like, oh, be reacting to Stringers and good old Owen and Pipes. Let us know what you think to that. Anyway, don't forget, wherever you're watching, if you're still watching now, I know loads of you are watching live, do me that favour. I'll put as many comments as there was and as many as I could get on screen. Hit the like button now. If you're on Facebook, I can watch you doing it. I can see it. So if you hit the like button now, you're watching. Do that. That'd be absolutely brilliant. And do a little share, cheeky share. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and get all the latest content. As ever, we can't do it with the guys from ADT, Hologram, Tiger, Peter's Pizza here, Pucker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, which starts this week. Leicester Riders does. We've got some free tickets to give away from the guys down at Leicester Riders. The Fox's Arms, that's the very own Jamie's pub out in Alcudia. Newbie & Co. If you want to buy a house, give them a shout. And our chosen charity this year is Hope Against Cancer. From me, Phil. Most importantly, thank you tonight for Reedy for joining me, but mostly thank you for all your comments in there. Thank you. Reese says he shared it. Reese, you're a legend, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, Baz. How are you? Joe, I am not going Millwall. I swore after the last trip I went there, I would never, ever go to Millwall again. I've told that story before. It was awful. I never, ever want to go back to the den, ever. I'm mentally, physically scarred from Millwall. I'm too chicken. I'll see you all later this week. I don't mind admitting it.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.